Why is it every single time we have a great chance to keep in touch with the top two, we never ever take it? I was honestly losing my cool by the end of that game. First and foremost, I actually thought Watford, I didn't think Watford were particularly great, but they certainly didn't play, I've certainly seen teams play a lot worse than that, because I thought that at times Watford really looked to unsettle us, and really, so I'll give Watford credit for this. They definitely were unsettling us, and they definitely did a job on us, and just wish they could have been bothered to do that away at Burnley and Sheffield United and at home to Sheffield United, but as in take a result to them, but off them. But look, that's, for Watford, I know obviously that Tom Cleverley somehow is under pressure from their board, which is utterly mental, really. The board should be backing him, not trying to put him under pressure. But for Watford, I still think that, for Watford, that should be considered a good point away at Sunderland. But from a Sunderland fan's point of view, it was unbelievably frustrating. There was so many parts of that game that go into, right, let's get this out of the way. I know there are people in the comments that don't like me when I talk about the officiating. I know there is. But let's get one thing straight once and for all. The result is irrelevant. As to whether I'm talking about the officiating or not, don't anyone come at me with the nonsense that I only mention them when we don't win. If anyone genuinely thinks that, go and watch my video against Sheffield United. We won, and I still criticise the officiating and saying it was poor. That referee in that second half, and this isn't Watford's problem. This is not a... they have if you can play the advantage and play whatever rules you want to, but the amount of times their goalkeeper time wasted, the amount of times any of their players time wasted, which they have every right to do. Again, like I always say, if you're going to get away with it, then why on earth wouldn't you time waste? Why wouldn't you do it? It's nothing to do with Watford doing it. It's the referee for continuing to allow it to happen and not getting a grip of it. I am getting so fed up, and it won't just be a Sunderland thing, it'll be across everywhere. Every time players take 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds to take a decision, like a goal kick, a free kick, a throw-in, whatever it is, something's got to be done about it. Something simply has to be done about it, and I'll keep mentioning this. And apparently, I don't know if this is right, but apparently that was a Prem ref. If that's a Prem ref, then we are screwed. Like, we really, really are. And again, he was determined to make it all about himself. You could tell in the way he was going on. Now, having said that, I will defend the ref on one thing. From just watching it once inside the stands, I thought the penalty decision was correct. I thought that wasn't on the referee for giving it. That was on Cirkin for making a stupid challenge and then making a stupid lunge when he didn't need to. It was an absolute stonewaller in my... Unless I've watched it back and I changed my mind, for me that was an absolute stonewaller of a decision. I don't think the referee was at fault for giving that. But again, it came from, one, letting the cross in, two, letting the ball bounce around all over the place, and then three, Cirkin being an idiot. And I like Cirkin a lot, don't get me wrong, I really do like Cirkin, but he really infuriated me the amount of times that happened. And then the second goal, which every single time we seem to be conceding a goal, it's not because the opposition have cut us open, apart from maybe the first goal at Middlesbrough. It's not because the opposition have been better than us, it's because we shoot ourselves in the foot all the time, and it's really starting to get on my nerves. Yeah, can you tell I'm still a little bit annoyed after that? It was the amount of times Sunderland tried these fancy, intricate, one-touch, quick passing. And I get it, if it works, then obviously it's great to watch, of course it is. But for me, sometimes I think we try to do it too often to make ourselves look a bit flashy, when that led to Watford breaking and scoring a second goal. Now, don't get me wrong, that second strike is a hell of a finish. It really is. If we scored that, we'd be absolutely buzzing with it. And fair enough, it's probably one of the goals of the month contenders. If you're surprised if it's not by the end of February. But yeah, it's just frustrating because then we left ourselves with a mountain to climb. And thankfully, Cirkin stabbed home, from what I can remember, from close range to get us a point. So a point is definitely better than nothing. But unless Portsmouth somehow go to Sheffield United and get a result, which I'd be very astonished if it happened, I just cannot see it. So Sheffield United, again, are going to pull a bit further clear when we really could have done without that. It's starting to get on my nerves, the amount of goals we're conceding as well, because again, it's like, if you think off the top of my head, the second goal against Plymouth, the second goal against Borough, and even to an extent, as great as the finish was for the second Watford goal, they all come from Sunderland's own stupidity. And it feels to me like Sunderland beat themselves half the time, rather than because teams are outplaying us or anything. And look, don't get me wrong, I don't think Watford were poor today, but I didn't think they were particularly great. I think that they were really there for the ticket. And I think second half, to be fair to them, they spent a lot of it. I will give Watford this, they broke really, really well when we lost the ball and we were losing our heads a little bit. But I felt like we were playing the ball in the second half and everything was in front of Watford and we were struggling to break it down, which is why I go on about not conceding goals, because they are important. Now, having said that, I felt in terms of player performances, I felt Rig was really poor today. I think Rig was probably a victim to the same thing that, say, like Samed probably was. Well, I think both, well, actually, no, it's not fair. Rig was definitely guilty for me of trying too much and trying too hard. And I thought Samed was really off it. I don't know whether, I think Samed is probably, like I said before, I think Samed, for a game away like Middlesbrough away, and probably even to an extent Leeds away coming up, Samed is probably a really good player in those moments, but you could tell that we definitely missed Job. But from what I've heard, Job's back for Luton. So if that's the case, then good, because I think we really missed him today. We lost a lot of the midfield battle a lot of the time. But even then, late on in stoppage time, you know, we had two fantastic chances to win the game, which conveniently didn't go in. One when I think Mayenda did a really good little through ball towards Wilson Isidore, and then he shoots basically straight at the keeper, where if he took it round him and slotted in, it's 3-2. Or when there was another ball that was put through over the top towards Enzo Lefebvre more in the centre of the pitch, but on the left-hand side slightly, he shoots it straight at the keeper, which... Well, don't get me wrong, we did have the chances, and I would argue in terms of chances, Sunderland did deserve a point, but we were far from our best. But if Watford fans say they deserve the win, I couldn't begrudge that too much either. But for me, again, we shouldn't need to have scored at a third in order to win the game. I'm starting to get a little bit sick of our defensive standards recently. They've not been great. Having said that, mind, you know, Watford, you could say Watford's 2 goals today were down to a mistake, as in a stupid penalty, which was a penalty, don't get me wrong, and a fantastic strike for the second goal. But yeah, it's just so incredibly frustrating, isn't it? Absolutely incredibly frustrating. There's no excuses on Wednesday now. You have to be... I thought you needed 6 points from these 2. And while I'm still a little annoyed that we can't get that now, you've got to make sure you beat Luton on Wednesday ahead of Leeds. You really have to. And another thing we need to stop doing is that when we have these winnable home games, with all due respect to every opposition, because you don't have a God-given right to win any game, but when you have these winnable home games, win them. Don't contrive a way to drop points. Win them. Oh my God, yeah, I need to go and calm down. Sorry guys, I know this is a ramble, and it's probably one of my worst videos I've ever done, but like, for me, I'm just really frustrated after that. And obviously I record videos in the immediate aftermath of the game. Get Joe back in for the next game, and let's just try and play like the standard we can do. But even then, we still had chances to win today, so yeah, let's wait and see. But if we could start keeping clean sheets again, that'd be really appreciated. But anyway, guys, I love you and leave yous. You know the drill. If you're watching the video and you're not a regular sub and you're watching it and you think I've earned it, hit the sub button, like, comment, subscribe, share the video around, and be respectful in the comments, because it's not too much to ask for, but for some reason it feels like it always is. And yeah, see us for Wednesday against Luton. Need a lot better than that. How are the lads?